Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wine Talk, where we uncork the wine to tell the truth. My name is Chrishon Lampley, and I'm here with David Thomas. I'm so excited to be with you. Tell me your Instagram handle again.
At Everybody Knows DT.
So at Everybody Knows DT, please follow him. To all the Love Corkscrew fans out there. I know I haven't done a wine talk in a while because I have been traveling like crazy. It is Wine Fest season. 'Tis the season to go everywhere and showcase your wine, and everyone in the industry is literally crazy right now because I always look at this time as the time where we set up to make money, right? We don't make any money all year except for fourth quarter. So we're getting everyone in line to buy our product for fourth quarter. So again, I'm so excited for you to be here. And we just have a great conversation. And I'd love for you to open your bottle of Love Corkscrew. And I see you have Hard Knock Live. Yay!
Yeah, I'm excited. Very excited.
Gosh, it is so funny because I'm going to totally be sexist and say that a lot of men love Hard Knock Life. I don't know what it is about it, but I did not plan it. So everyone out there, remember, I don't know what I'm sending to each guest. I have no idea. When they open it up, it's a surprise to me just as well. So tell everybody about yourself while you're opening up the bottle, please.
Absolutely. Like you said, my name is David Thomas. Probably more affectionately known by most people in my life as DT. I am a podcaster. I have my WSET level 1, which is recently something that I did that was really important to me. My podcast is one where I share a glass of wine with my listeners and we talk about whatever is going on culturally. So the reason why I named it Grab a Glass is growing up, whether that was me being around my parents or the parties that they were having, that was something that you heard a lot. Hey, grab a glass. Hey, grab a glass, because they were going to talk or watch the Bulls or whatever the case may be and, have honest and humorous conversations. And so now that I've reached my adulthood and found myself loving wine as much as I do, it just made sense to do that. So, and not only that, but when I consider the fact that on our best days, we want to celebrate, right, with a glass of wine. And on some of the days that we're having maybe in the society that we live in, it's like, I gotta grab a glass of wine just to take the edge off. So whether the headlines are good or bad or whatever the case may be, that's what we do. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm from Chicago, born and bred. A North Sider. My parents are South Siders, which is pretty funny.
I was just gonna ask, North Side or South Side?
They went to Loyola Chicago. So once they graduated, it just made sense to stay in Rogers Park, but we have family all over. And so this is an absolute honor for me. And I got to say, I really appreciate you having me.
Yay, I'm so excited. And you do touch on a point that I always make. When things are good, people drink. When things are bad, people drink. It's just different, right? It's just a different way that they may consume, but it's always consumed. Now, let's talk about that. Like as far as family, friends, and back in the day and what people partaked in. What would you say that you got into wine a little later on, or did you see some of the adults within your family drinking wine and you got interested in it? What was it that attracted you to wine?
I would say that I definitely got involved with it probably later than most. I played football in college, Division I football, and so I didn't touch alcohol until I was almost 23.
Right. Yeah.
And that was a choice that I made, and I'm glad that I made that choice because it let me really enjoy things as I got older. But growing up, my family, and I actually got to see, obviously I wasn't old enough to really understand, but now that I'm old enough to understand, I got to see my parents taste mature. They were, when they first had us, I'm sure they were drinking wine coolers and things of that nature. And so, which I don't feel like are that prevalent anymore. But
well, no, that's White Claw now.
Same thing. Right, exactly. But I got to see them do that. And then, throughout time, I got to see my mother, who's a big wine fan, go through much more mature. So that's just kind of how I followed in her footsteps. We did the vodkas and some of those other, Four Loko and crazy.
Oh God, remember Zima?
Oof. for a really long time, we're on a hypnotic kick that came back. That's something. We'll say that's something.
I don't know why it came back. It's blue for God's sake. But anyway, but what made you take the WSET course? Why?
It was something that, in doing the podcast and having a glass of wine each time, and kind of just slowly teaching myself through YouTube videos, books, and things of that nature, it was like a challenge for me. It's been a long time since I've been a student of anything. And I was an unofficial student of wine, so to speak, like I said, and learning from different YouTube videos. I've watched plenty of your YouTube videos to learn things. And I was like, I wanna put my knowledge to the test. Let me see if I can study something like this. Let me see if I have the, you know, ability to sit down every night or sit down throughout the day and go through flashcards. I hadn't done flashcards since college. So
Man,
it was
yes.
important for me to do that. And I proved myself something else that I could do. I could go back to school, so to speak, and learn something. So that's why I did it. And I'll do the WSET 2 here soon.
That one's hard. That's even more memorizing.
Yeah, I actually, through our network of Black wine professionals, have been told that it's quite the jump. So,
Yes.
but I'm excited for it. I'm eager to do it.
Do it. I am so like impressed by that, especially gentlemen getting into it. And I've seen that more. Some great BIPOC men that are killing it in the wine game now, from sommeliers to getting into brand ownership like myself, or just enjoying it, just trying to educate themselves more in it, because
That's
there's
great.
so many things we don't know. And even as a wine professional myself, there's tons of things I don't know. There's tons of things that change all the time. They always say there'll be 99 sommeliers with 100 different answers.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so much out there. And to you viewers, as I always tell you all, wine is subjective. Your taste is your taste.
hmm
At the end of the day, if you don't like it, it is not me that has to force you to like. You have to enjoy it. And I want you to enjoy anything you want, however you want. It is up to you. There is only one thing that I will always tell you never to do. And the reason why I'm transitioning this, because he has hard knock life, is you never have a dessert with sweet wine. Never. That's the one thing I always hold true to. Because unless it's a port,
yep,
the wine most likely will not be as sweet as the dessert,
right.
and you will ruin the flavor of the wine because the wine will then taste more bitter. And then you will totally ruin the taste of the dessert, how it should taste in whatever sweetness it is. So you don't have a bottle of wine with dessert, you have a port. So I'll just always think the sugar content should be higher than the dessert itself. Otherwise, just drink the wine as the dessert. So transition to hard knock life here.
Yep,
I'm very excited for David to be tasting it. And I always say be completely honest,
for sure.
because we like what we like. Wine is subjective. But I will say, to my defense of anything that's said, Hard Knock Life is a favorite amongst men, and it has a great cult following for the sweet lovers. That one has 5.25% residual sugar. So that is a sweet lover's dream. So let me shut up while you taste.
I've never had it before. I've had plenty of the varietals before. Got them in Uptown and Target. So
Yes,
your distribution
yes.
is inspiring for sure. Going to Target and seeing a brand like yours. But I have not had this. So I'm. This will be a very candid, honest
I love it.
opinion.
That's what I want. That's what I want. That's all I want. I tell you, this wine talk where we uncork the wine to tell the truth.
And like I said, I'm a podcaster, so wine and talking is like my thing. So this is awesome for me. It's really really good. It doesn't feel too sweet to me, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
you know, I would, and they're Concord grapes, right?
Correct.
So I mean,
Correct.
that can typically skew like pretty sweet, right?
Very. So for all of you out there, Concord grape is normally used to make jam or jelly. It's predominantly grown in the Midwest to the East Coast, and it's the cousin of the Niagara grape. So they're the Labrusca grape. So just know that, yes, it is a Midwest grape. Usually I have people with nostalgia that says their grandmother used to grow Concord grapes in their backyard. So yes, they tend to be sweeter, but my Concord, I want your opinion. Yes.
It's very good. I see why men would like it. For all the the reasons that people may say, men feel like they have to be one way, or super tough, or this is like a a nice vacation from that, hard exterior. It kind of tastes like a picnic to me. You mentioned somebody's, grandmother making, you know, jelly or whatever the case may be. I think
Yeah.
packing some sandwiches, going to have a picnic. This would be. I'm in Tennessee right now. It's really, really warm. Like I'm gonna go
Oh
drink
gosh,
out
yes.
on the deck. It's
Yes.
really, really, really good. And like I said, I don't feel like it's overly sweet. It's like very drinkable, obviously, which I think is huge
Yes.
for a wine. And yeah, I could see myself packing 2 or 3 bottles for a picnic with my wife and
That's
some
exactly
friends.
what it should. Yes, that's exactly. And for you guys out there, our sweeter wines always have less alcohol content because we want to balance that with the residual sugar. So it's always going to be a little lower, so it has a great balance and it doesn't have a crazy aftertaste. That is just very easy. And to David's point, it is a great daytime. You can enjoy it chilled or
Mhm.
at room temperature. I prefer it chilled. And for those of you going, to your events outside and you want to do something a little different, it's great for sangria. It's great
Mhm.
to add some fruit in there and just have that some chilled fruit, some frozen fruit in there to
Yep.
keep it at a nice chilled rate, and it'll be fun. So now let's talk about the way of the world right now with
Sure.
wine, Black people in wine. Where do you see it going? And I'm going to ask it in a general sense, not just with brands, just with us enjoying it, because obviously our consumption of wine has gone up through the years, with people like myself, McBride Sisters, all different brands that are blowing up now within the industry and trying to educate and have fun with it. Where do you see it going?
I see it continuing to grow the way that it has. I think that in the recent years, call it 3 to 5 years, it's started to really pick up, especially for people in my quote unquote age group, millennials. I think that people have become more educated in it, not only with pop culture, and we always see celebrities attaching themselves to wine, or
Yes.
athletes now are attaching themselves to wine, and how deep they go into it. That's maybe a conversation for a different time or a conversation for now. But
No, it's now because I had another conversation with a fellow wine expert a few wine talks ago about it. I was very candid, and so was
yeah,
she
yeah.
about the situation. I have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. This is the problem I have with it. And by all means, you jump in. My problem is I would love, I'm going to talk the positive of what my solution is. I would love for those celebrities to partner with some of our brands that have been around for years. I've been around 9 years, going on 10 years now. I know other winemakers, negociants, and brand owners that have been around a long time. We're doing well. But imagine if we had a celebrity that attached themselves with us as opposed to coming out with their own wine brand. Because imagine how the longevity of it, right? How long, as opposed to just jumping in the industry, not making it and going. I've seen so many celebrities in wine and in spirits
Yep.
jump in. Eventually, the wine doesn't sell or the spirits don't sell, and they're out.
Yeah.
It was just a quick check, and it was something that they liked, and they said they're going to throw some money at. Imagine if one of these celebrities came out, said this particular celebrity's name by Love Corkscrew.
Oh yeah.
This particular celebrity names by Longevity or by Black Girl Magic. Imagine us coming together and them endorsing our wines to blow up these wines even bigger, but letting us professionals run the house of wine. Let us women in BIPOC, let us do all the dirty work.
Yep.
You can be the face,
Yep.
and work with us. Why not that?
I liken it to something that I recently said on my Instagram and on my podcast about Paris Fashion Week, and how we often see celebrities, how they gravitate towards the fashion houses of European descent, Gucci, Prada, Fendi, what have you. But when there's Black owned or smaller owned BIPOC people here in America, call it, and have great brands, beautiful designers, they want that stuff for free. Or
Yes.
they'll do a collaboration with that side of fashion, but not with ours. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. But like you said, it does have, I guess, a positive to it, just because it's starting to show our faces in that light a little bit more. But yes, that 110%, the power and I guess the power in multiple ways, not only economically speaking, but just the purity of us working together. That collaboration would be incredible.
Incredible,
Incredible.
incredible. There would be so much, looking at the financial aspect, there'd be so much money made because people then believe you. As far as the celebrities are concerned, they believe the celebrities. Okay, you have this Black woman who is producing and or a negotiant for your wine brand, so she knows what she's doing, and you are endorsing and supporting that Black owned business. Imagine how hot that would be.
The longevity of that would be 10 times what it is now.
I'm gonna put it out in the universe, I swear.
Good. I feel like I was going to ask you, like, from a standpoint of all the things that you've done in your career with Love's Corkscrew, was there ever a moment, and I'm sure there was, but like, is there a specific one in your brain where you felt like you were at a fork in the road, and it was like, I'm either going to completely quit this and go work for somebody else, go to corporate America, or this is going to become what it is now and going to continue to thrive in? And what was that moment like, and how did you make the choice?
Wow, great question. There was two times actually. Once was when a big retailer dropped me years ago, and I thought, wait, huh? You're not giving me the opportunity that everyone else has. When there's distributors coming to me and saying, the sales goal they just gave you is times 10 of some of these huge wine companies that are collecting dust on the shelf. So why do you have to move like your Ciroc when they're just collecting dust, and that's okay? Yeah. So that was one, because I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? Right. Because I'm a store wine. I am store. That is 85% of my industry and my business. So that was one moment. And the second moment, I'll be honest, was what was during COVID. Mm-hmm. It was literally all of my speaking engagements were canceled, contracts. We had money that we were collecting at that. I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars of me traveling, going to these wine fests and events, and it all was canceled, stopped, all contacts, everything was broken. And if it wasn't for George Floyd, and I've said this on other interviews before, I wouldn't be where I am right now. He was an angel. The civil unrest that happened during that circumstance created so much opportunity. Yes, there was that small bit of increase that happened with the consumer, right? My online sales went up 272%, right. But I lost 85% of my accounts because they were all looted, closed, not buying, scared, never reopened again. There's all types of stuff happening, right? So my online sales went up, but we knew what was going to happen. That some of it was just, you know what, we feel bad, so we're going to support this BIPOC business right now. Right. And I'm just, but then this is the awesome thing. As those sales started dwindling back down again, some stayed on because like, oh shit, she has good wine too.
Right.
But then what happened was the corporate directive. That's where the longevity came. It's this new corporate look to support, not just in the wine industry, but period, 8-10 years of programming down the line to then truly look for us. So when people were Googling Black women in wine, I'm popping up. All of a sudden now you see my face. You never looked for me before. So it was interesting. Those two times, COVID and definitely getting dropped from a huge account was like, I don't know what else to do. I've been in this game a long time. What more can I do? But that angel came.
Mm-hmm. And I think about the account that you said dropped to, like, it kind of ties to the conversation that we had about the celebrities, right? It's like, we understand that we have to work twice, 3 times as hard to get
yes, sir.
Maybe half as much, right?
Yes, sir.
And so how important that is. But that's amazing. Yeah, I'll continue to say it. I'm honored to be on with you. I think that as somebody who is just starting out, it's been a while. Like I said, I took my WSET been doing a podcast that, has a
That's
glass
huge.
every week. I think episode, I'm looking at my calendar, episode 116 is coming up this week, and we've never missed a week. So but I look at all the things you've done: blog, radio show, like your lifestyle brand, the Lampley Reserve. I was like, there had to have been moments where she felt like I felt 6 episodes ago, where it's like, oh my God, like,
all the time.
The journey, even if you don't ever speak about it, the journey, and if someone's interested like I am and looking back and seeing the progression, it's as inspirational as it gets, even if you never even speak it, which obviously you do. But so cheers to
that means the world. That means the world. And I'll say this, I said this to another gentleman about a year ago. I did his podcast, and I thought he was amazing. And he said to me, I only have like 10 listeners at a time. Most of them are my frat brothers. I'm really not, doing much, getting that much traction. I said, but do you enjoy it? Right. He said, I love it. Mm-hmm. I said, so this is an outlet. This is a way for you to release and have a good time, correct? He's like, yes. Then why are you going to stop it? Right. I said, I don't care if you're on episode 205. It could be number 304 that somebody sees, and here we go. It goes viral. You get money behind it. So don't stop anything you're enjoying just because you're not this sensation. I think that is, I'm a Generation X, so I'm a little older than you, but I think that is that your generation and younger, of the thought that if it's not instant gratification, if you don't have 1 million followers, if you don't have the blue check, then you're irrelevant. That is so freaking wrong. It's not even funny.
Media is so
oh my God.
Phony. It's crazy.
It's so consuming and phony. And I was just talking with a friend today, and we were looking at a mutual friend's post, and it was like, okay, no, that's not true. Like it's all, but it becomes like,
do you ever think like, do they know that there's probably 2, 3, 4, 5 of us that know that is absolutely false?
100% false.
So funny.
Like I have the evidence to say that didn't happen yesterday. Like, yeah, no. But I think we get so consumed in the likes, right? Why Instagram said, my understanding is they're going to start taking that away, right? From certain people, from seeing all these likes, because people are obsessed with it. It only takes one opportunity, one individual, one circumstance to get where you need to get, and wherever that is. Whether that's monetary, whether that's just that one person, whether it's a collaboration, you never know who's watching. Right. You never know. Just like you said the things that you've watched from me. I've had people come up to me and like, oh my God, I posted that like 3 years ago and that inspired you. I would have never known. And that warms my heart more than anything. So I say all that to say, keep going. If you're episode 16, I want you to be on episode 310, and you be so busy that you can't do it because so many opportunities have come to you. I always say, keep going. You never know. And you never know who's going to look back. You could have somebody who listened to, 100 people that listen to episode next to, boom, 10,000 people. You never know.
That honestly is, I think, the beauty of podcasting, and why I got into it, and why I continued to do it at 116 episodes or whatever. And that is kind of like that documentation that we have now, and the ability to, I think of when you mentioned George Floyd, I started my podcast in April of 2020, which, was very close to that time. Yes. And I think about all the people that we love now and what they did during their time on this earth, and how similar it would be to what podcasting is now. Like I think about, and you see the room that I'm in is full of inspirations. I have James Baldwin is here, Lorraine Hansford.
I love Rick Ross. I love Rick Rosette. Yes.
Ross is here. And I think about like in their time, like if James Baldwin was alive now, he would probably have a podcast. Or if Lorraine Hansford,
absolutely,
To Be Young, Gifted, and Black might have been a podcast. So I think about like all the things that I'm doing now, and even though it may not like in my brain pop off at where I want it to be now, like it could be something that, like you said, I've watched YouTube videos from you, where you've explained something and you probably haven't even thought about that video in years, 2, 3 years, whatever the case may be. So there is a documentary and piece to that. I feel like wine always goes with that for me.
Always. Always.
It goes with everything, doesn't it?
It does. And that's a great transition because we're almost finished. For those of you that just tuned in, this is Wine Talk, where we talk about wine. We want to tell the truth, right? We uncork wine to tell the truth. And I am with my guest, David Thomas, and he's been absolutely so much fun. So tell me, what is your favorite varietal and why?
Oh my gosh, that is a very tough question. I go back.
Absolutely is.
I really do. I go back and forth. Um, I would say right now it is probably Cabernet Franc.
Okay.
I think that it's just, I've where anytime somebody brings us, my wife and I, wine, or we go to a party, it's Cabernet Sauvignon, right? That's like
Yep.
the easy thing to grab. You hear about every, brand has one, and I love
Yep.
it. I love it. And
Yep.
I'm one of those wine people that I will, if you bring it, I'll drink it. I want to taste it.
Same.
I actually read something that said like people who don't know anything about wine will drink anything, and people who know a decent amount of wine will drink everything, and that's like the common ground. Um,
Yes.
but I think just the slight differentiation between Blanc and Franc,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
just the lightness of it, it's a little less heavy, and so I've gotten into that a little bit more. Um,
Love it.
and I really do like Pinotage. That was my second one. Um,
Yeah, I love
I
a good
love
South
to be
African.
in
Yes.
South Africa and have a
Yeah.
Pinotage. Like that's like a dream of mine, a goal of mine. But from a varietal standpoint, like if someone was like, "Hey, what varietal do you want?" I'd like just, and they didn't know anything, I'd say grab a
Mhm.
Cabernet. Ask the wine person.
Right. Just a
Or
Cobb
wine.
Franc can be done. And you,
Um,
that's true. With those, you can't really go wrong.
yeah,
In the different flavor profiles of the Cab Franc. And totally, I totally agree with you. And South Africa, funny, it's a great dream of mine too. For the Lampley, I plan on traveling to South Africa, and I want
that
to
would be
source a
awesome.
Pinotage and a
Yeah.
Chenin Blanc. So that is my next thing. Hopefully, in the next 2 years,
I was
that's
going to ask you
exactly what I'm going.
what goals do you have? Like,
Oh my gosh, so
and I'm
many.
sure there's a lot, but like, and maybe some that you can't share because they're already in the works or whatever the case may be.
Right. Of course, there's
Yeah.
two that I can't share. They're in the works. But I would say the main thing is to really become a household name. I think a lot of times we can be pigeonholed. And again, we struggle more than others to just be on the shelf. So I've made it on the shelf in 15 states, but I want to be on every state. And just like the Sutter Home and Barefoots of the world, I want Love Corkscrew to just be that bottle that you grab just because. I used to watch people just walk down the aisle and grab wine without even really looking at it because it's just, they know that label. And I don't even think they even knew exactly what variety they were buying, but because it's that brand, they just trust it.
It's white. I'm just going to grab a white wine. Yep.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And I love it. I love with the babies screaming, walking down the aisle, and the mothers just grabbing it, sticking it in they just keep going. You never looked at the back of the label. You never looked at it.
No,
Just
no.
grab because that's your go-to. And that's what I want. I want Love Corks to be the go-to. So that, and then the one thing I will tell that I think I've done, but I look forward to doing it more, and that's inspiring. There's been so many people that have come up to me randomly. I was just at the Essence Fest, and it was awesome seeing people come up to me like, "Oh my gosh, you're the wine lady." That was just so awesome.
Yeah.
So just to know that I'm inspiring people, that some that don't even have access to my wine yet.
Right.
Some that have just seen me on social media. That's the one beauty of social media, kind of come full swing, is that we have really the opportunity to be seen and heard by so many people that could never touch us before. That is an honor, and it feels good. And again, I love to see Black men in this industry. Man, that's hot. And I love to see, especially getting educated. I've heard so many different cases of wine snobs, people who think they know about wine and don't, and just be a novice, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to know how to pronounce Cabernet Sauvignon, Chianti, and Chenin Blanc. That's okay. But if you just enjoy and listen and want to learn, you're going to know it's not Pinot Grigio. Like,
yeah, right.
You're going to know it's not Merlot. Like, you're going to know.
Yeah.
Just open your ears and listen. So, so before we go, I want you just to give just a couple of minutes again of how people can find you. Because when we post this, all the Love Corkscrew fans will be able to follow and support you the best way they can.
Yeah. Again, I host a podcast called Grab a Glass. It airs Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time every week. 116 is coming up this next Sunday. So we're going strong. Amazon actually has a live radio app called AMP. I host a music show there on Fridays, but you can find me on social medias at Everybody Knows DT. And Chrishon, honestly, this was awesome. I know we'll do it again at some point, but I
Oh, we
really appreciate
must.
you and your inspiration. And I know that you have something coming up at Elmhurst at
I
the end of the year,
do.
towards the end of the year, and so I'll see you there for sure.
I would love for you to attend. And oh my gosh. So I love that everybody's promoting it. And I'm not doing my job because just about everybody I talk to, like, yeah,
Sure.
so what about your wine fest? So yes, everyone come to the Clink Fest. Just look up clinkfestival.com. And I am bringing all women, BIPOC, some amazing somms and wine lovers, just beautiful Black people and brown people. Not only wine, we have Pisco. We have tequila, we have whiskey, Black owned, Hispanic woman owned. Like we got it. And it's going to be so exciting and sponsored by Mariano's. And I would be honored if you come. You're going to come as my VIP guest. So please inbox me so I know you're there. And thank you guys for tuning in to Wine Talk, where we uncork the wine to tell the truth. And thank you, David. You've been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you guys.